Greetings and welcome to Robots Having Sex.
Go on with your bad self. Where we going with this?
I don't know where to go after that. That's all I have.
That's all you need.
I'm Jason. With me is Bill and Tim. And
Robot
today
sex.
we're talking technical ecstasy. Hopefully you've been following along. It's Sabbath Sunday. We've gotten past the first 5 Black Sabbath records. And that's an accomplishment that, I've been told for years now. You can't trust anything but the first 5, but then I hear you can't trust anything but the first 6. Go back
And
and
here
watch
we are
our
at number 7. Let's see what
go back
happens.
and watch our sabotage video, see how that played out. But today we are talking technical ecstasy, robots doing things to buildings and buildings doing things to robots. Bill, start us
All on an
off. You ain't
escalator.
started us off in the Black Sabbath in a while. You start us off here with Technical Ecstasy. What did you think of this record?
So, my comment. So, start from the top, work our way through, right? So,
Yep.
we start with Backstreet Kids.
Backstreet Kids. All right.
And that almost would have been better. Because my note was, where's the hard Sabbath we've heard? Like, this one didn't slap me in the face and make you want to ask for it to do it again. Um, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just compared to what I've come to expect from a Sabbath opener up to this point. I mean, every single Sabbath opener is most bands' best songs in their discography. And here we are with Backstreet Kids. No, it's not a bad opener, but it's not a Sabbath opener. Um, Following up with You Won't Change Me, thought the riff to the guitar was awesome, but that it just never picks up for me. It just never carries on. Like it starts great. I just want it to go somewhere. It just never did for me. It's all right. I thought it was a solid song. Gypsy thought actually was a little bit of a down tick, kind of. It's nothing crazy. Beat is solid, but after that, it just doesn't. From what I've come to expect and want from Black Sabbath, it just isn't there.
You talking
Uh,
Gypsy?
I'm talking Gypsy. Yeah.
Okay.
The end of side 1.
And then we get to All Moving Parts. I thought it was a very solid instrumental, but it pales compared to every other instrumental we've heard up to this point. Again, it's a great instrumental, but for a Black Sabbath instrumental, up through this first 7 albums, I'd rank it probably the last
Ooh,
instrumental.
that's not instrumental though. All moving parts.
Yeah, that's got lyrics.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some fucking
Well,
lyrics.
oh, solid instrumental part of it. That's what it was.
Okay,
Okay.
If
Yeah.
I
gotcha.
could
Yeah.
actually
Okay.
read my
Okay.
notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
My bad.
That makes
So the
sense.
instrumental part was very solid. The lyrical part paled instrumental. The lyrical part paled. There we go. Reading hard. Um, Rock and Roll Doctor. That was a decent song and flow I really liked. I wish that it was a little bit harder though. Um, it's just it just wasn't filling the Sabbath need that I wanted this week.
Fair point. Fair point. I agree.
She's Gone though. Ozzy used the song to make a couple really damn good songs afterwards in his solo career. He utilized a lot of this. Like this was She's Gone by far for me was the best song on the album.
Wow. Okay.
And I felt like Ozzy utilized it a lot. I felt that the riff was good. I really liked the intonations, the melody. what was going on instrumentally in it as well. I felt like this was, for me, this was the highlight. Then we follow with Dirty Woman.
You
It was a
fucking
solid outro.
2000s
I thought it was
millennial.
great guitar work going on with it. However, again, comparing it to the closers we've had before this, which have been phenomenal Black Sabbath closers, it pales in comparison.
Fair point. I'll give you that.
I mean, I'll almost give you that. That's going to be a big contention on for me on this album. But I don't know. Is it
And
my
that's
turn, or do you want to go? Or...
No, I'm gonna go after. I'm gonna follow that
So,
shit up.
yeah, go ahead.
that's fine.
I highly disagree with the opening track, what you said.
Oh, that's fine.
This is another solid opening track. I love the tempo changes in the intro. Comes out kicking fucking ass. It slows down just enough where you're like, okay. Then it kicks your ass again. Fantastic guitar solos. I love how it just ends out of the blue. Like the song just ends. The only negative thing I can say about it is the keyboards, electronic shit. I wasn't a fan of. You Won't Change Me. It's dark. It's heavy. It's spooky. It sounds like Black Sabbath. The keys work really well.
And not to interrupt too quickly here, but this might be the first one that Jeff Nichols is playing keyboards on. He's going to become an integral part of a number of albums we're going to talk about later. Kind of the fifth Sabbath member, if you will.
If he was on track one, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, well, and we'll get into it. But I want to say the condom's too tight. I can't pull the thing out. So I want to say this is the first one he was involved with. But I could be wrong. Let us know down in the comments, because I'm just going off the top of my head here.
The keys on track 2 are great, though. My favorite line, nobody's going to change my world. That's something too unreal. Nobody will change the way I feel. It's all right. I had to look it up because there's no way that was fucking Ozzy singing. It
Correct.
was Bill.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Got his Ringo moment in finally on album number 7.
I think he did a fantastic job. It almost had like a Beatles like Carry the Weight type feel to the song. The piano was beautiful.
Bill wrote it about his divorce, I believe.
It had that like, hey, carry the weight.
Yeah, I hear it. As soon as you said it, I hear it. Yeah.
The drum really popped off. Like the drums were great. Top song contender. Gypsy, to me, it sounded like this could have been on Paranoid. I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing negative to say about Gypsy. Another one where I think Ozzy shines on the vocals. The back half soars with the backing vocals. All moving parts. It wasn't bad. Just didn't really stand out as much as the rest. I wouldn't say it was filler. It still kept like the album flowing. It had fantastic guitar. The lyrics were what intrigued me enough to look up what the song was about. I take back what I said in the beginning. This song is a top song fucking contender. Yeah, that was my train of notes as I was listening to the song. Rock and Roll Doctor, just a classic bluesy rock and roll, kind of reminding me of early Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for Bill because he didn't like that early Aerosmith sound. She's Gone. I'm sorry, man. This emo Sabbath. I get you got to have one of those quiet, soft songs in the album, but this did nothing for me. Like, I was not a fan of She's Gone. Dirty Woman, I kind of agree with Bill. It's fine. I think it's the weakest track so far. It's not bad. The beginning kind of has like a boring mid-tempo thing happening. Once the guitar solo kicks in, it gets better, especially the outro guitars. It's a weird song placement. I think "She's Gone" would have worked better as a closing track, but eh, I think it doesn't compare to like some of the previous closers. Opening track though, Backstreet Kids stands. It's good. Closing note: judging the album based on the cover, I this is still 1976 though. This
Yeah,
album cover looks like it's from like 1982.
yeah,
I,
does.
when I went into this, I looked at the album cover. I thought it was gonna suck. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is Black Sabbath. What the fuck is this? Besides the last two tracks, though, the first six easily top song contenders. And it's not like the last two are bad. They're not up to par with the rest of the album. So I can't read the rest of my notes, but I was pleasantly surprised with this record for the most part.
Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna kind of fall in between you guys. We're gonna all have some different takes here on this album. Um, and I think that's gonna be Exhibit A for why you can trust the first six Black Sabbath albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then if you've been watching our playlist base channel and you watch Sabotage before you're watching this one, you might have heard me say that I think that's Ozzy's best performance ever, solo career, Sabbath, all of it. And then I'm going to throw out there that if you ask Ozzy, he's going to say that Technical Ecstasy is his worst. So that kind of peppers my opinion here. Because I can hear it. Like,
I think Ozzy sounds great on this record
I
in
think he
parts.
sounds great, but I think but he sounds disconnected from the music.
I see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just something off about this album. And if I had to lay it down, I would say, well, and I mean, it's well documented that like they had him just singing, not even to music, just sing these lines, and they kind of worked around it. Um, I'm gonna agree with Jason for the most part on side one. I think Backstreet Kids is a great opener. I don't think it's as good as any of the openers we've had before, though. But I
No,
think it's
no.
solid. But I think
Yeah.
it's solid. I think "You Won't Change Me" is an even better song. I think that song's pretty cool. But again, if I put that on any album that had come out previously, it'd
It'd
be
be
the
the
low
low
point in the
point.
catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's All Right is cool. It's Bill's moment to shine. It's a fun song. Um, but much like the title, it's not great. It's all right. It's just kind of there. Gypsy, I'm going to go back to a couple times. It's one of those that for me, like every time I hear it, I don't mind it, but then I completely forget it.
Ain't no gypsy
Um,
It's
boots.
or Gypsy
eh,
Road.
Gypsy Road, that's it.
yeah, no, it's no Gypsy Road. I do think moving on to side two, I think All Moving Parts is a great song. I like probably the vocal highlight for the album for me, other than my highlight, which we're getting to. Um, Rock and Roll Doctor to me, it's a passable song. Like, if I'm listening to Sabbath on shuffle and that comes up, cool. but it's also a little too 70s cliche.
It's Aerosmith. It's fucking
It is.
Aerosmith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing, like listening to this album the other day, this is the first album I think for me where Sabbath, like, are they trying to be Zeppelin on this album or are they trying to be Kiss on this album?
I think this leans more into Kiss than Zeppelin.
There's a lot of Kiss riffs on here, but there's a lot of Zeppelin production. And where the previous six albums were all like, no, these are Sabbath albums. This one feels like, and at this point, the drugs are real bad. It's well documented. This is where the problems with Ozzy start.
We've been saying the drugs is a problem since like fucking
It's a
Master.
problem. Like, was the 76 punk rock just started? Disco just started.
Well, they said Backstreet Kids was their response to punk rock.
Which isn't with their
Like,
no comment. I purposely kind of paused there because I do want to talk about the last two songs of this album, uh, where I'm going to disagree with everybody wildly. I think "She's Gone" is the low point of this album, completely forgettable song,
Hmm.
and I think "Dirty Women" is not only the highlight of this album, but it's the only song that stands up with anything that's come before it. That riff is incredible. The bass line, incredible. The lyric, like "Dirty Women" is a sleeper, perhaps. But man, once that song clicks, that song rips. Top song contender.
not a steal.
Wouldn't be a steal for me either.
Well, it might make the list, and I might be biased. I was lucky enough in my lifetime to see Black Sabbath live 4 times, and they busted out "Dirty Women" the last 2 times, and it fucking sounded great.
I hate to use a comparison, but that's like some Nickelback fucking track placement there, putting like a song like "She's Gone" and then followed up with "Dirty Women."
It's so well, and there's a lot to this album. You can look at the sequencing is very 70s. The placement of the styles of the songs is very 70s. Um, it feels to me like at this point, they're international superstars. And Ozzy's been doing LSD every day for like the last 5 years. Like they're all out of their minds. And so, yeah, obviously they're still probably trying to chase a pop hit that they haven't had since Paranoid.
Yeah,
Say at this point, because they are still trying to just get on the radio, aren't they? At this point, or have they actually finally hit the radio before?
Well, and this one feels like they're trying to hit the radio,
Because it's not the same metal
but for
sounding that
late
they had.
70s. Like even the softer
Aerosmith
parts on
was
this
on the
album
radio.
feel
We're gonna sound like Aerosmith. Yeah.
right. And even "It's All Right." It's like, okay, "It's All Right" is Beth. It's their Beth.
I don't think we're gonna be too far off, honestly.
No, I mean, there's a reason you can trust the first six Black
I
Sabbath
don't think
albums.
we're gonna be too far off. I think Color Code might be a little far off,
Color Code will tell all.
but I don't think our rankings are gonna be too far off. Whose turn is it? It's goddamn my turn to guess again.
Oh, you got lucky on this one.
I did not get lucky. I don't fucking like guessing. All right, I'm gonna say there's no way Tim has Technical Ecstasy over the first Black Sabbath on Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. Ain't no fucking way.
No, correct. There's no
That
fucking way.
begins with Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Dirty Women is the only song on this album I think that could compete with anything that's come out prior. But everything else, like Bill said, it's lacking something.
It doesn't have the magic. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah. And you can blame it on the drugs, blame it on the production, blame it on the
You
band
can't blame it on the
dynamics.
drugs because I mean they were coked out of their minds when they did fucking Volume 4.
Well, sure, but like there's a point where it works for you and a point where it doesn't, right?
I mean, say you become a repeat offender. Eventually, you repeat too hard.
There's no way Bill has this record above Volume 4.
No, I don't.
There's
Why?
no
Why?
fucking way.
Why was that even a question?
Because I'm ranking, I had to get some. I had to fish.
I mean, Jason, you have Master of Reality at number 6.
Well,
There's no way you have it above that. There's no way.
no. There's no.
There's no way.
There's no way. This album. There's a huge gap between 6 and 7 right now.
Stay it with us, boys and girls. There are 3 things in this world you can trust. You
The
trust
first,
yourself.
Sabbath? Oh,
You can
shit.
trust the first 6 Ramones albums. And you can trust the first Black Sabbath albums.
and out of those things that I trust myself the least.
Smart.
I trust Rocket to Russia more than myself.
Same.
You can't go wrong with fucking Rocket to Russia.
Right?
Go check
Friends
out
with the
Ramon's
president, I'm
rankings.
friends with the Pope.
So nothing technical did not break the first 6.
No.
Well, and again, Ozzy's gone on record saying it's his least favorite. I can hear it.
And I'm
It
not-
did sound like he was having fun.
We're
Like, I
still
don't know how else
like
to describe it.
I'm telling you, color code will tell all. But like, there's still a lot of good shit on this album that
For sure.
Well,
Yeah, for sure.
Bill's
when you're
contribution.
comparing it
like,
to those,
yeah, if you got to compare it to fucking Paranoid and Sabbath Bloody, it ain't no fucking comparison. But there's some good shit on this record. Not a bad album. Not a bad
Correct.
album.
Which we're going to be saying about a number of albums. So.
Up next, we got Never Say Die. And I'm going to tell you now, I don't know anything about this record except for I was listening to one of these other ones. I can't remember which one it was. But when the album was over and I was still writing my notes for the closing track, a song played off this record. I was like, what the fuck is this? Holy shit. This is fucking good. Oh my god. I looked at the album cover. I'm like, I don't recognize that fucking album cover. A bunch of fucking pilots. What the fuck is this Black Sabbath? I don't know about Don't Never Say Die. So I'm interested.
This is Jazz Sabbath right here.
I'm interested to get. I want to hear this record. Like after I heard that one song. Whatever single was on it was probably the song Spotify algorithm played for me.
Hard Road, maybe?
I don't know what it was.
I can't imagine you freaking out over a hard road, though.
I can't. Whatever it was, it fucking rocked. I was like,
Never Say
holy
Die.
shit.
Those are the good songs.
I've been wanting to get to this one since we started this discography. I've been wanting to hear this album.
Is it the last one with Ozzy?
78. When did the next one come out?
2013.
1980.
And Heaven and Hell is Dio. I know that. So yeah, this was the last one with Ozzy.
Yeah, it was definitely Ozzy singing when I heard it. I was like, oh man.
Oh yeah, no,
no.
Ozzy's definitely Never Say Die. Yeah,
because I know Heaven and Hell is when Dio comes in.
but this is the last one with Ozzy until 2013.
Because Blizzard of Oz was 81, correct?
80. 80.
80? It was.
Yeah, Diary of a Madman. 81.
That's right. We had Black Sabbath and fucking Ozzy released an album the same year. What a time to be alive.
I know, right?
Like you know, motherfucker, you wasn't
Iron
born till
Maiden's first
'98.
album came out.
Well, no, I know it was a boy, but like I could just imagine, like, I mean, fuck. When did when did Deal's album come out before 80? Because it had to have been like 78, 79.
Well, before 80, he was in Rainbow.
Oh yeah.
And those albums were coming out as early as what, 75, 76?
Well,
Be safe and what, Bill?
listen to Black Sabbath, man.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.